Okay, going to look at the Prosharp Z Channel here. That's a cut that's down the middle of a runner. And the Z Channel unit on the AS 2001 and the 1001 looks like this. It's got a pin that you go through and you trim one side, then you move the wheel down and you move it over here and do the other side. It has 3 different widths: small, medium, and large. And the medium is 1 millimeter. And so you move this back and forth. It determines the swing on this, where the pin can hit. So a conventional dresser looks like this over here, and that goes back to the mid 80s. Looks like that. And then they came out with the Z Channel unit that looks like this. And what that does on this type of machine is it cuts a groove in the bottom of the runner through here. So gives a lot of bite. And here's a little diagram that shows a 3 millimeter width, and then for the medium, at least the one I measured, it was 1 millimeter. And then what you do is you I'll go back here and show the whole thing. You go ahead and originally dress it like normally, where you don't have the pin in here, and you go dress the entire stone. That determines this radius of hollow through here. Okay, I dress it to 16 millimeters. Then I want to go ahead and create the Z channel. So what you do is you turn this knob a quarter of a turn, which moves the diamond down, and then you go ahead and dress one side. And you push the stone down and then bring it on the other side to dress the other side. So this limits the travel here. And so there you got the 1 millimeter bump that sticks up. The height difference between there is because this is turned a quarter of a turn, which is a quarter of a millimeter, because this is a 1 millimeter pitch thread. So that's about 0.010 of an inch. So that's what the height of this little bump is a quarter of a millimeter. And the width is determined by this. So you push this down when you go through and go over here so you don't hit the diamond. Now I've got the diamond turned up here just right now, but after you originally trim this the first time to get I used the 16 millimeter, then you're going to go ahead and do each side for the Z channel. You go through and turn this a quarter of a turn. And then you go through and you have the pin engaged here, and you drop the wheel down and then you trim this portion. So originally it's the dashed line, which goes here. This is the original trim. And I'm just saying here I went ahead and used 16 millimeters as an example, what I just did. So once you've done that, you've got the pin engaged here, and then you're going to go ahead and trim this side. Then you push the wheel down, which is over here, the wheel pushed, and then you traverse it on the other side with the Z channel unit, and you go ahead and do this side. So the stone looks like this, the grindstone. And then the limit on here, the dead zone that you can't cut with, is determined by this. You've got Z channel small, medium, and large. And the medium, it defines this 1 millimeter width. So this is a whole 6 millimeter grindstone here. And that's what cuts the Z channel up here. It grinds this, 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 and then it pops up into here. So you've got a radius of curvature on the runner here of 16 millimeters and 16 millimeters, and then this is the cut that's cut by the stone. And it actually gives a lot of bite. I was very much impressed, but I'm still playing around with it. But I thought maybe I was skating almost on a 3/8 or something when I first got on the skates with that thing. So got to do some experimenting. The large here makes a larger cut width in here, and then the small makes a smaller one. So I don't know right offhand what those numbers are, but this is a Z channel by Prosharp. And then on the units they have like the home unit and the other unit where they have a fixed wheel that you're not using a diamond. It physically has this shape on their pixie dust diamond dust wheel that you replace. I think they're 60 millimeters in diameter, and then they're 100. And the small diameter wheel that has this entire shape already on it. So when you order on their automatic units that have a replaceable wheel that's already got the radius of hollow, the Z channel, you have to order it by the width on here. And what I've done just briefly with this thing is I've noticed that when you do have the Z channel, it acts like the radius of hollow down here is actually smaller. So I think with the Z channel, like their literature says, you can go through and use a shallower radius of hollow. I could probably use a 25 millimeter instead of a 16 down here. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to take one of my own pair and change a set of blades and go to a medium setting, and then change the radius of hollow to 25, and then see how that works. But this is